You are listening to the Kentucky X-Files with hosts Dennis Mays, Tyler Stewart, and Josh Gibbs. Don't forget to subscribe to us on YouTube, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts, so you never miss an episode. Now, on to our show.
Something that would be in the context of the supernatural.
He described it as being a gray, silver-looking, upright bipedal creature, dragging a deer out of that cave going up the hill.
Where he goes, hey, I got a question for you. He goes, do you believe in demons?
And it takes one big step and vanishes. I'm like, oh my God, that was a Bigfoot.
And look at these pictures of this white creature.
Something 7'3" to 8 foot tall.
Right.
That, let's say it like.
And I'm telling you right now, if this was a bear, then this bear was standing on his hind legs, and he was running like a man. No, this was no bear.
Now, when it stood up, that's when I knew it was a dog man.
Welcome back, guys, to the Kentucky X-Files. What, is that a new thing?
I don't know what that is.
You've been doing that for like the last couple...
It's not consistent.
Back to the Birdman. I'm digging it.
Birdman.
I don't know why I whispered it.
It's because it's scarier.
Scare the birds off. If you yell.
Yeah. I mean, my call is, I don't know. Dude, honestly, I don't know why I do it.
I think it's like, we
It's
should
like
just...
the mysteriousness, like we're in the jungle or something.
It's like our air horn.
Yeah.
It's our version of the air horn.
Yeah.
I like it. It's smoother than the. Yeah.
Wow, I can't believe we just... I feel like if we don't change topics, we're going to be on this all fucking night.
Yeah. Yeah. Tonight's a good night.
It is. I had a good day. You guys have a good day?
Yeah.
I had
a
a decent day.
Really shitty, rainy, dreary couple of days, and it just turned okay.
Yeah.
A little chilly though. Yeah. We're pretty warm. A little space heater's kicking ass.
It does a good job, doesn't it?
Yeah, I know. I was like freezing my ass off when I first got in here, and then the next thing I was like, "Ooh, it's all cozy."
It's cozy. You guys back there probably imagine that we're sitting in a library with leather-bound books, smoking pipes, drinking whiskeys. Oh wait a minute! You don't. It's
Scotch.
Is it scotch?
Scotch,
Yeah,
yeah.
we're
Yeah,
drinking
scotch.
scotch. We're not. We're in Gibbs' garage. But you know what? That's the equivalent. Because for us kind of dudes, this is the equivalent of that fancy library.
Yeah, we're surrounded by power tools.
Yeah.
And equipment. And it's great.
It's
The
like
smell of new tires is in the air.
I don't live here, but it feels home, like
Right.
home. You know, it feels very homey.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know if that makes sense, but
Yeah.
so it's a good night. We got some emails from several people. I have not had a chance to really look into them, so
Awesome.
if any of them are terrible and we're just being trolled or something,
Yeah, it's bound to happen.
but if you guys want, I can dig right into them.
Let's dig.
Let's dig. What about you guys out there listening? You guys have a good week? I hope you did. This is, well, actually, I should say I hope you had a good weekend. By the time you're hearing this, it should be Monday morning.
Yeah, that's the thing is our listeners, you know, they're getting us on a Monday morning,
Yeah,
and we're enjoying the end of the week on a Friday night.
yeah, that is true. I think I said it before. Like our listeners are time travelers,
Yeah.
or we are. I don't know. All right, so I said we have a few emails. This I've got the guy's name, but I can see here he's asking to keep his name anonymous, which I want to respect that. Check this out. This is I think this might be along the lines of, like, I'm just skimming it as I'm listening, but anyway, fellas, been listening for a few months now and decided it was time to tell my experience. Last year, 2020, was a bad year. Yeah, it sure was, buddy.
Yeah.
I decided to go hunting to take my mind off the world, as it was causing me more anxiety and stress. Hunting always relieves those tensions. It's peaceful. I can see that.
Yeah.
I was in my blind and could hear something walking, which I believe to be a buck that I've been keeping tabs on for months. I got a lot of buddies that do that, you know. They'll literally show me pictures of the bucks they've been watching, you know. I'm sure you guys do too.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It's so funny. It's like I'm watching the life cycle of a buck, and I know how the story's going to end. If all goes well. Anyway, believed to be a buck that I was keeping tabs on for months. It was not a buck. It was a doe, and she was being carried over the shoulder of a huge hairy creature. I raised my rifle and I took aim. He then stopped and looked at me. Fellas, I've been around firearms my entire life. I've never hesitated before. I hesitated. Its eyes looked too human. It was as if the guy was telling me, "Don't shoot me." I couldn't even keep my rifle raised. It felt like it was getting heavier, and then an overwhelming sadness came on me. I literally felt like crying, and I felt sick to my stomach. It made me feel like I was a horrible piece of filth. Wow, I've never actually heard that described before. When I finally let my weapon lower, he relaxed and started to walk away. My nervousness was unreal. I actually said, "Holy shit," out loud. Now here's the kicker. He turned his head and smiled at me when he heard me say that. What the actual fuck? I'm convinced he could understand me. I live in the Pike area, and I would prefer it if my name wasn't used. Anyway, thanks guys. Keep up the great show, and please feel free to share this with your audience if you think it might help.
Oh my God, that is a great encounter.
I was skimming and didn't. Holy.
Dude, that gave me chills. That's
yeah,
awesome.
Holy shit.
Dude, that's awesome that we were talking about it and we didn't even think about the whole infrasound. But that's so awesome that, in a way, what you were saying, like
I could
elephants.
Feel his rifle getting heavier in his hand.
Well, and then when he said that, it was like he was telling me, "Don't shoot me," and like what he was saying, like some elephants could use it, infrasound, to communicate. So maybe he was trying to like that's what they're using to communicate, and basically like that whole feeling. Like I get the whole. He might have not he used it in a different way of feeling like pure shit because he was trying to. He was trying to take aim at him, but I feel like that was probably his version of like the dread, like his dread. Like you would feel like you feel depressed. I've
never heard that before in any of the encounters and whatnot that I've listened to and read. I've never heard anyone describe it quite that way. Like it actually made him feel like. The sadness, I think he described sadness, and he felt like he was worthless or something. That's really heavy. You know, I've got his name here. I'm not going to put it out, but thank you so much, man, for sending that in. And I'm sure that's probably got to be a big part of the puzzle for a lot of people. Yeah, the Pike area. That's
in Kentucky, like the Pike area in Kentucky.
Yeah,
dude, like if you're listening,
man, go to Pike one of these days.
Pike is such a heavy activity area, especially because that's like such close to the like. It's a coal. Like I don't know if Pike in general is a coal mining town.
Pike County.
Pike County is. So yeah, we were talking about that a while back ago. The eastern side of Kentucky is starting to. Like the forest and nature is starting to take it back because of those.
All the coal towns getting shut down.
The coal towns are getting shut down, and it's just so that I can see why he
it's desolate too.
So yeah, like I think like that's the reason why he probably had this encounter too, is because they're probably seeing like, hey, we can
hang out here.
Yeah, we can start hanging out here more.
Yeah. Got one here. From a guy named Smith. I wonder if that's his first name, Smith, or if it's his last name. I want to believe it's his first name. That'd be cool.
I've never heard of
Smitherson.
Smitherson.
Anyway, he says his title of his email was Dogman or Dog Squatch, with a question mark. I am pretty certain that this Dogman thing is just another variant of the Sasquatch species.
I've heard.
You and I have talked about this.
Actually,
Take a look at baboons. Man, those things look like friggin' werewolves.
That's exactly what. Do you remember that
I do,
conversation we
yeah.
had? Yes.
Smith, you were right on the money with what we were thinking. Anyway, I don't know if this helps, but me and my sister can remember being home alone while something huge was circling the house and breathing heavily. It scared the absolute hell out of us. When my folks got home, we were so freaked out completely. My dad went out with a shotgun and looked around, but I don't know if he was doing it because he thought it would make us feel better or that he actually believed us. Anyway, thanks for doing your show, and it's nice to know our experiences don't need to be a secret. Smith. At least certainly don't need to be a secret.
You and I had that exact conversation.
I think we've had it before.
Yeah.
Because when we first started the podcast,
the snout,
the
that was always
snout,
the thing. That
but we always said, then what about the butt? The red butt?
Oh, yeah. I think the conversation did take a turn for Sasquatch running through the woods and his shiny red ass.
Who totally... Okay, I see it.
Okay, yeah, I'm with you on that one. But the shape...
Yeah, the snout.
You take a baboon, which is a primate, and
Yeah.
you take a gorilla, which is a primate, and you take a chimpanzee, which is a primate. They don't look anything alike,
Yeah.
Right.
but they're all primates.
So yeah, I was like saying like that's like it's because you were saying that a lot of the Sasquatch sightings it looks too much like human like the eyes.
Yeah, even that one. I'm keeping him
Yeah, the pike.
ambiguous, but
the pike one.
Even he said the eyes looked
Yeah.
human.
Yeah.
So, are you guys familiar with the what's known as the uncanny valley?
No.
So there's a phenomenon that I say that word a lot. There's a phenomenon that's gonna be my catchphrase.
It's a fun word.
Yeah, I'm gonna need shirts that just it's. Kentucky X-Files.
Is that going to replace
There's
the
a-
aliens guy?
There's a phenomenon.
Kinda like make your hair all freaky.
It'll be his beard.
Just poof my beard out. Yeah. So the uncanny valley is something that happens to people where when you see something, it can be human-like until it's a point where it's too human-like, and then stops being human-like. It's really hard to explain. You really have to see like the videos that
Is that like
explain.
pareidolia?
No, pareidolia is like when you see faces where they aren't.
Yeah, when you stare at something for too long, it
The uncanny valley is when you're looking at something and it shouldn't be as human as it is.
Yeah.
And then suddenly it's just not quite right. It's not quite human, but it's too human for what it is.
Yeah.
Like dolls. Like, you ever
Oh,
seen a
yeah.
doll where a doll, big eyes and the red cheeks and okay, that looks like a doll. And then you see a doll that's got like human teeth
Yeah.
and it's that eerie feeling.
Yeah.
of,
It's like this is too much.
that's the uncanny valley.
You break out your pliers and start pulling them bad boys.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's the uncanny valley.
Like
so,
I'll fix this.
So if you was to see a creature looking at you with eyes that
Yeah.
were too human-like,
Okay.
that's going to give you some of that.
So that's okay. So that describes the feeling that when he's
Yes.
seen it.
Yes.
As you see, he took aim.
Right.
He takes aim, and then it all starts to basically just melt. The situation just deteriorates from there.
Right.
That's what's interesting to me is the eyes. He sees the eyes. They're too human. He sees the thing. He obviously, he reacted by pulling his gun.
Right.
And then all of a sudden he's unable to do anything, as if he was told not to. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's strange. I don't know, man. I think our big friend he's got all kinds of little tricks he seems to like to use. Let's see what else we got here. I got, what is this here? Lady named Miss Clara, fan of the show. All right. She says, "Hi, fellas. Love the show. That black triangle was seen here near my town, and we're close to Sparta, Kentucky." Okay. "We have had reports of the small white goblin creatures for years. They always terrorize houses, but they always stay in the houses that are far from the town. They're in the hills. They don't seem to like to go around the actual towns. What do you guys make of that? Anyway, love the show. Thanks, guys. Clara."
We're talking about like the white goblins. The
They have reports of small white goblins. Well, her exact quote is small white goblin creatures terrorizing houses. So that's an interesting one.
yeah.
You know,
That is.
near Sparta, Kentucky. It's weird. It's the second time I've heard about the Black Triangle around
Yeah.
Sparta.
And Sparta and Louisville and
Yeah.
all that's sort of in a row.
Yeah, we got like a flight path for that thing.
Yeah.
I think that's literally like our sky Bigfoot.
Yeah.
It literally. you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
That's got to be Bigfoot's. That's got to be Louis' triangle. That's him.
It's Louis.
It's got to be. He's flying it.
Oh God, he's flying it.
Yeah. I don't know. I've heard stranger shit.
Oh God,
The whole goblin story, though, like to me that what if the name goblin was used because alien wasn't a word yet, and that's just how old the story is.
It's kind of what I assumed. I mean,
because it was back in the 50s, and like Goblin, like when was like Lord of the Rings came out?
I'd say goblins predate Lord of the Rings. I doubt
Like-
that Tolkien invented the word.
I don't know.
yeah, I don't know.
You can make me pull my phone out on this one, aren't you?
Recently, I went for a walk in the woods near a supposed sighting area, and I did not experience any feelings of dread.
Yeah.
I didn't experience any feelings of being threatened. The only couple things that were strange were there was one spot where it it looked like it could have been some footprints. But when I got down and I was really looking, and I mean, if anybody would have walked up on me, I probably looked like an insane person. Okay, because I'm down on the ground. I got my phone in my hand. I'm trying to focus my phone because I'm like, I need to take a picture. And then I'm like, yeah, screw it. I'm just going to film it. And I'm like, how can I film it? And I'm trying to figure this out. And then the only thing I got is like, okay, I can just record shorts. It wouldn't let me record longer than a minute.
Yeah.
And that's frustrating as hell. All because I forgot to take the damn GoPro. Like I said on the last video that I was going to.
Right.
Anyway, so I get down and I'm looking and I'm like, okay, this looks like a footprint. I even put my foot next to it and I'm like, it's a lot bigger than mine. But there's big dudes out there. So I'm sure there's somebody with a bigger foot. And then I'm like, there's another one. So I go over and look at it and I'm like, and then I started rationalizing. So I'm like, okay, there's no way I just walked right up on some footprints. You know what I mean? That's like, dude.
First time out. Yeah.
First time out, man, I just walk up. Oh, there's some big footprints right there. Oh, hell yeah. I'm sure he's right around the corner. I'm going to go yank him out of the bushes. And then there's another one, and I'm like, I'm trying to do the stride, and I can't. And I'm like, okay, so there's one here, and then there's another one. And there was like 3 total, and that's kind of where I'm not really willing to say, like, yeah, man, that was big footprints.
Yeah.
The stride was weird, and they made sense in that context. And when I tried to do the stride myself, I couldn't stretch without falling on my ass. But that was the only ones. And I'm like, okay, there's leaves everywhere. There's loose soil everywhere. Why are these the only ones? And I did a circle around this. You guys know how I get, man. I'm like, okay, I'm in it. Let's figure it out. I started doing a circle. And I'm like, okay, that's roughly this. I even broke a stick off at the length of the stride. And I just started literally like going in a radius around it, like where, I don't know. I'm completely inconclusive on this. That was one weird thing. The maybe footprints, and that's on the YouTube channel if you guys want to check that out. I don't know what to make of it. I had a few people on there that were like, dude, that's like they've seen that before, and they were like, that's a footprint. He was hauling ass or he was running. And I'm like, I just would expect more footprints, you know?
Because a creature that size would be like 800 pounds.
Yeah.
You know, and running.
Because it was like...
It's not going to be gliding across the surface. It's going to make an indention.
That was the weird part was it was like, it was leaves, and it was like, boom, just blank spot in the middle of the leaves. And I mean, like, just judging, it was probably like that. But I'm still like, man, what if it was like a squirrel, and he's digging right there, and he found a nut, and he's like, yes, and he takes off.
Right.
And the reason it looks like a footstep is because he found another one over there, and you know what I mean? I'm like, I'm not willing to say that was a big footprint for sure. It was odd. The only other thing was that was weird was as I went further, what I did was I for the sake of the experiment, I looked at the direction I thought the supposed footprints were going, and I followed them. I was like, okay, let's go this way then. You know, I mean, if something's gonna, you know, be out here or anything, now I should find more on this path. So I kept going, and the next weird thing that happened that I found strange was there was a gigantic tree break that happened as I was going deeper away from like the walking trails and such. I was going into the woods themselves, and the farther away I got, there was a big loud tree crack that, be honest with you, when it was dead ass quiet. Like it went from like I could hear squirrels, I could hear things in the distance, I could hear people, and then all of a sudden it was just deafening silent. And as I'm walking, that silence started becoming way more what do you call it, obvious to me. And then I started thinking about the silence a lot, like, this is terrible. It's really quiet. The only thing I can hear is me walking on these leaves. And I'm like, if there is something out here, I am a gigantic Thanksgiving dinner.
Did you hear a blue jay before that?
I don't know. I don't recall.
Any of our fans that hunt can tell you that a blue jay will ruin a hunt in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
They're like nature's alarm.
Like it scared everybody away.
If a blue jay makes
Gotcha.
the sound of danger, everything in the forest goes silent.
You know, honestly, I don't know, but I bet you if we watch them, we'd be able to hear it if there is one. Because I was recording them one after another as I went. The very last thing to happen to me was the odd silence just persisted. Yeah. And then something I did note was eventually, I'm a little ashamed to admit, I got a little bit bored with it. I wasn't really finding anything. I'm standing there for like a solid 40 minutes in dead silence in the middle of these woods listening. And there's just nothing. And I finally was like, okay, I'm done with this. You know, I'm getting nowhere. You know, I haven't found anything else. There's really, I mean, unless I'm just, you know, not seeing what I'm supposed to be looking for, I don't know. I decided to leave. So I turned around and I started going the way I came. And when I got out of the woods, then I started hearing the animals and the wildlife again. And that was just kind of strange to me because I'm like, you know, I got away from this certain area and then all of a sudden, like I'm hearing wildlife again and stuff. And it didn't help the feeling of like total utter silence when I got back there, you know. And I will say this though is somebody had told me recently that ever since they started listening to our show, they think the dog man is everywhere.
Right.
You know, they'd never heard of a dog man before, you know, or whatever, and now they can't go out to their garbage can at night without thinking Bigfoot's there or dog man's there because the show is freaked them out a little bit.
Right.
And I can I think I got a taste of my own medicine on that.
It happens to all of us, you know.
Yeah.
The Bigfoot cutouts, you know. It got Tyler. It got me. And then this thing that happened this morning with the growling, you know.
Yeah.
It's like I was apprehensive about telling anybody because I'm like, I'm on a podcast about cryptids and I heard a strange growl that I can't explain.
Oh yeah.
You know, it's so clickbaity. So easy
I heard
to
a
do.
growl, a crazy growl at a gas station one more. I mean,
Yeah.
I mean,
There
I
was
know
an
I
episode about that.
Yeah, and it was.
And you actually got a email back.
Yeah, it was.
A guy says
another person had actually corroborated that they
Yeah.
had actually heard shit there too.
How weird would it be if it was the same growl?
Oh,
Because
dude.
the growl in the video is so
Yeah.
difficult to even understand. It's a growl because it clicks out so bad.
The one I mean,
Have you been back to that Speedway?
in broad daylight, yeah. On the way home, I have, but not in the morning when it's dark.
You should. So
I'm ashamed to admit that it freaked me out. I'm like, every time I'm thinking about stopping there, I'm like, yeah, let's probably go to this other one.
Tornadoes are good, but
know what?
There's like 100.
I need to get a recorder. We need. I'm going to bring a recorder one day, and I'm just going to just wait.
Dude, I mean, I still stand by this. It sounded like a super Rottweiler.
right,
You know, like
that's
this massive Rottweiler.
and that's what it sounded like to me.
Yeah. And I was like, what the
I
hell?
wonder if there is a cougar or a mountain lion still in the area.
Maybe it's got.
He'll be in Tyler's car.
Please no.
He has a thing where these cats jump in his car. That'd be one cat I would not want in the car.
Right.
You know what I figured out, though, is, I mean, most felines have pretty much the same basic build in their makeup, like in their, you know what I mean? Like their behavioral is pretty close. I mean, obviously, like domesticated cats have been bastardized by us to the point where they're far removed, like modern day dogs. But I think I figured it out, though. Laser pointers. Mountain lion comes out at you, laser point. He'll go after that shit.
That's what I need to do. I just need to walk the dog with the AR.
There you go.
Problem solved.
Problem solved.
Yeah.
Should work. I don't know. You know what? Disclaimer, I'm kidding out there, so please don't try that. Because if anything happens to you out there, well, we'll just be one less listener. We can't afford that. I'm just kidding. I'm not kidding. Don't do it.
Yeah.
Don't do it.
Don't try a laser pointer on a mountain lion. That'd be a bad idea.
Yeah, I don't know, man. These emails coming in, the encounters and actually going out and looking at a supposed area myself. It's interesting, but I can see I can see a couple of reasons why people go in groups to go looking around. I went out by myself. If I was in danger, there's probably a really stupid thing to do.
I'm just saying, missing 411. You would be on that.
There was always that, yeah. And I can see, a couple of reasons. One, go by yourself. There's always the chance that David Paulides is going to be writing about you in one of his books. Number two is more sets of eyes on an area. I can't definitively say that there wasn't a sighting in that area. I can't say that. I'm not gonna go either way on this because I don't know. I wasn't there. I didn't see what they saw. I didn't experience it. But I can say this. Having more sets of eyes on an area to me would mean that we get more perspectives. And one person might miss stuff. I'm sure there's other shit that I missed if something really happened there. If nothing really happened there and it was just a squirrel digging up some nuts, fine. But it was kind of a spur of the moment. I'm like, oh yeah, I heard about this spot. Boom, gonna go check it out. Mm-hmm. Not the smartest plan. Because if something really is out there, if something is making people disappear, anything like that, someone needs to know where you went. You need to let somebody know. Or do the buddy system. Take your buddies.
And like I do this all the time with you. If I wanted to if I bought something off of Craigslist, I always told him, I'm coming back here at this time. If I do not make it back, this person killed me.
Yeah, it always goes like 0 to 100 on this. It's always, you know. So yeah, I don't know. You guys writing emails in, man. You definitely keep them coming. You know, don't be self-conscious about it. Send in what happened to you. Send in your experience. You know, the only way we'll ever get to the bottom of it is, you know, writing it down, getting a pattern. You know,
And on the more of a kind of the just getting it off your chest, keeping it in and wondering about it all over and over. Once you write it down, send it just write it down. If you don't we would love to hear your stories, but if you just write it down, get it out. Don't because it's those kind of keeping those things inside of you because you have a lot of questions. It eats you up inside. So, but we do appreciate you guys sending those messages because it helps somebody else because they're having the same questions you guys are. You are.
Yeah.
So.
I know recently we put out the video, our midweek, our standing video, and it was well received, and a lot of comments, a lot of our hardcores, our regulars, you know, and I wanted to shout out Joe Lunchbox. He put in he put quite a bit of feedback in, you know, about the direction of our show, you know, and other shows like ours, you know, what can we bring to this science that's, you know, not been brought before? Well, to respond to Joe, I would say everything he said was good points. And it definitely didn't fall on deaf ears, you know. To bring something different to the field, though, we have to establish a basis first. There has to be a pattern first. For me, at least, a pattern that tells me behavioral, you know, because behavioral, unless they're professional actors, behavior is hard to fake. Now, you guys, I know you guys have watched just as many hoaxer videos as I have.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And there's always a blatant, obvious, it's a first red flag whenever you see one. There's a couple of things. You guys out there, you know what? If you want to eliminate hoax videos, I'll give you some tips. One, look at the stride. Look at how it walks. Does it walk like a man? Does it walk like a human? It's fake. He's a guy in a suit. He's pulling one over you. Number two, the camera suddenly pans away in a panic. Well, I've got hundreds of encounters and patterns written down that shows that you're not going to turn away. It's going to be almost impossible for you to move, especially if you're face to face. I don't have one single encounter where the person instantly turned and ran away. That's a big one. Mm-hmm. And that's one that you guys out there are going to be fact checking. I'll wait here while you do. And when you find the same results that I did, come on back. Nobody turns and runs away. I suspect it's infrasound. I suspect that that's this thing's first line of defense. He's not trying to kill you. He's just trying to scare you away from him. The more he panics you, the easier it is for him to get away and disappear. Just my suspicion.
I've always noticed too in videos, the ones that seem more compelling, they always have. Let me put it this: they always have a direction that they're going, and if it's more sporadic, that they're moving, they're not
Yeah.
I feel like that those are fake, because it's they're moving way too much. All the ones I've seen, they literally go in a straight line. And that's where they go. They don't do the zigzagging thing or anything. If they're going to walk away, they're walking away in that direction, and that's it.
That is something I've noticed also. The walking videos, you know, the really, really straight line walking videos, they always have the most interesting gait as they walk. Even going back to the Patterson-Gimlin, I know there's a big fight over that video. I mean, a tooth and nail fight over this video, whereas one person says, or one group says, it's this guy in a suit. Another group says that there's no way that suit would have even been around during this period. But when it boils down to it, is if you look at this suit, let's call it a suit. Let's for the sake of the experiment say that Patty is a suit. Someone made it. They spent years probably perfecting it and getting it down. Okay, so we've made this suit. I forget the year. It was 1960s, right?
I think 1964.
It was 8 millimeter.
Yeah.
I'm going to look it up just for the show.
Think at the time, the suit would have been worth more than the damn camera.
Yeah.
Okay. Not only that, but the suit has muscles reacting underneath of the fur.
Yeah, like the suit is way too tight.
67.
Yeah, 67.
1967, our suit that we've made, and it's a female, okay, which would have been an uncommon factor back then also.
Yeah.
If you think about it, we're different times. You know, if you were making a monster movie back then, you tended to make it a male. You know, the minority of monsters back then were female. Hell, it took a long time to even get the Bride of Frankenstein.
Yeah.
Eventually we got there, but at first it was, it was predominantly male and male creatures and male actors and whatnot. Okay, so we got these guys that not only do they get imperfect. Now, this video has been slowed down and enhanced. It has been dissected by thousands of people. The best minds have come together to try to debunk this one video. This isn't some cell phone video on TikTok. This is a Super 8 from 1967, you said?
Yeah.
From 1967, folks. And to this day, the jury's out.
Yeah. All of the people that claim to be the guy in the suit, none of them could take anybody to the shooting site.
Yeah, nobody. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Have you ever tried to walk like Patty?
I have actually tried it.
I have tried too. It's impossible.
Without falling on your ass
and not looking ridiculous.
Yeah, because the way everybody thinks it's just a long stride, but like us, we like to keep our toe out.
Yeah, we've evolved to walk with the least energy as possible.
So if we try to do that big stride, but if you ever notice it, the stride, they kind of drag their toe across like that, and then they make a big stride.
And that foot comes all the way up.
Yeah.
That's the part that's hard to do.
Yeah, and there's an evolutionary standpoint for that too. Most creatures that evolve to do that type of gait are often creatures that handle rough terrain on a regular basis for however many thousands of years it took them to evolve it.
So think about that too. If this was a costume, everybody's having trouble with it. I know there's people out there that probably can do it, but put yourself in that costume, that heavy ass costume.
Yeah.
And actually try to walk on gravel, rocks.
It's a fur costume with muscle pads underneath of it. Okay, so we got some extra weight there. You can't see. There's no way you can see very well if it is a costume. You can't see what you're doing. And if you watch the original video, the original Super 8, Patty was hauling ass. That video is not slow like you see nowadays. She is moving.
Like it
and
would be.
Why would you not plan out your hoax better? Why would you not get the perfect shot?
Right.
Were you that far ahead that you knew you had to make this shot imperfect somehow? Why almost fall off your horse and try your damnedest to catch this thing, and they all, I mean, in the footage, they almost didn't get her.
Right.
It's a near miss.
That's the thing a lot of people don't realize is if you're not into the cryptids and stuff, the Patty film is really that like 4 seconds of film or 4 or 8 seconds, whatever it is. It's a solid 40 seconds of nonsense.
Yeah. Just trying to get the shot.
Yeah.
But if you guys actually like think about all of, like,
And they didn't run away with the camera.
Right.
think about the what is it? All the other hoaxes and stuff, like people actually in a costume and stuff.
Yeah.
This is the only video I've ever actually seen of Sasquatch, like how well fitted. If this was a costume,
Right.
this was well fitted to whoever actually wore it.
Right.
Because you got to think about all the other ones were kind of like, you'd see the like they're kind of baggy. It's too droopy.
It's
You
a
can
ghillie
see-
suit, or it's a baggy-ass gorilla suit or something.
You can see like on the sides where it's
Yeah.
collapsing on itself as they're walking.
I found a few like that where I could actually see the pant, like the seam lines in the pants and such. And
So that's kind of like what I'm saying. If this
Yeah.
was, I don't know. Like I understand why people think it's fake, because they did make money off of this. They made a lot of money because it was used in commercials,
Yeah.
this and that. So they made money off of it. But just because they made money off of it doesn't make that it's not true. That it's
I
not
mean,
real.
If you think back then, you get this footage, and for the sake of it, let's say it's not a suit, it's not an actor.
Mm-hmm.
So you're a couple guys, and you get this footage. What do you do with it? Why protect it so much? Why guard it for years? You know, why hold on to this? You know, most of these hoaxers, eventually they come out with it. You know, there's been several hoaxers that have been, you know, they've been proven to be fake. They've admitted it publicly, you know, whatever. There was recently there was one where it was these guys were doing a like a hunting video, and you know they're like, what the hell is that? And the camera pans over, and there it is. There's a Sasquatch, and then all of a sudden the camera's moving, and this thing's, you know, taking off running. And I watched it. I put it in. You know, I put it through the ringer. I slowed it down, and when I slowed it down, I landed on a really, really bad suit, and even found where you could buy that suit. It's just one of them things. It's like there's one or two people out there that can build you a suit like Patty. But the technology to do that suit, it's not been around that long. You know,
Yeah, that's relatively new.
it's really new. Recently, Steve Isdell, How to Hunt, put out a video from a trail cam that he was sent, and I've watched it. I've watched it a couple times, and in the trail cam footage, the camera itself gets knocked to the ground, and then you can see what. To me, at first, I actually mistook it. I thought it was a bear. He put out a film, basically a trail cam he left in a location for almost 6 months. He went back and got it, and this same bear keeps coming back and screwing with his camera, right? So I thought it was another one of those. But it was, when I went further and read it, he was actually sent this footage. The camera gets knocked down, and then here's two legs. Basically the calves, and then there's a hand, and I'm watching this, and I'm like, wait, what the hell am I seeing here? It wasn't a suit. I mean, I'm sitting there watching this, and I'm like, this isn't a fucking suit. This is alive. This thing's alive. The hands. The hands actually cover the camera up. It buried the damn camera in leaves. You could see it, and then it's gone. That's all you get. You see it for a couple seconds. You see the leaves. You see it scoop up the leaves and cover it up, and whatever happens after that. But the fucking hands. I'm like, how the hell do you fake that? This thing had hands. I mean, like ours, but not like ours. And I'm thinking to myself, if this is some kind of damn suit, Jesus Christ, this is scary. It's to me, the implication is scarier that someone would put that much into a fucking suit. What the hell does that? What kind of person does that? Well, you know what I mean?
Right.
Why do that? Why do all this work for something you're not getting famous for? You're not getting credit for this. Seems like an incredible waste of time. And the only reason Steve put it out was because it was not just a blob squatch. It was not just, a shadow. It wasn't just this. It was actually showing you what is happening to the trail cams that are being placed in the Pacific Northwest. The cameras that are disappearing and whatnot.
But the bearing of the camera makes somewhat of sense, too.
Mm-hmm.
Because...
Oh, that bear, he goes after that camera for 6 months. And it's hilarious. I highly recommend watching the video. If you don't get a laugh out of it, I don't know what it would do.
What I was saying is...
This bear, he's like... he is like... He wants this camera so bad. And you can see the day and night cycles change. You see moose going past, deer going past. And then there's the bear again. And he's just like, like literally chewing on it and trying to like get it. Dude, it's so funny.
Well, but what I was saying about him burying it, like after you said throwing leaves over it, like you were saying, like maybe like the light that was coming out of it it hurts them.
Yeah.
So like it looks. How did you like you described it? Like if their eyes would if they have like that type of night vision, that what is that infrared light?
Yeah.
Would look like fire to them.
It would look extremely bright, and it would look way out of place.
It's the ultraviolet, though. It isn't infrared. Right?
That's it.
No ultraviolet.
Yeah, it would look like a torch.
I think they could see the infrared off them too. The motion sensor.
Yeah.
I believe they could see that.
So
I
that
think
gives
they can see a lot better than us.
In a
low
way,
light.
what I was just trying to say is that I now, like somebody could say, "Oh, why did he cover up the camera?" Like we're talking about an animal here or something like that.
Yeah.
Why would he cover it up? He's covering up the light so he can
He doesn't want to see it.
Yeah, he doesn't want to see it.
He doesn't destroy it. He just covers it up. He buries it. I think the only reason it was found was because it was relatively close to where the camera was started. And this camera was strapped to the tree. All right, so I don't know if he broke the strap. I'd love to have a lot of all the details of this.
Details.
I'd love to know was it unbuckled? Was it ripped off the tree?
Was it a bungee cord or a ratchet strap?
Yeah. What was done? I'd like to see the footage before and maybe I guess after wouldn't really matter since it was buried until it was found. But
Yeah.
I will say this though, to see the legs of the thing and then see the hand for even a split second was one of the most compelling things I've seen to date, other than Patty. That was.
Did it hit you like the uncanny valley?
Now that you've put a name to that feeling, I would say yes. That's pretty accurate.
Yeah, it's a creepy thing. Like I didn't know what the uncanny valley was until probably a month or so ago.
Yeah.
And the more I dug into it, the less I wish I would have dug into it. Weird.
Yeah. It's interesting.
It's uncomfortable.
It is.
It gives you an uneasy feeling.
I did feel that when I saw this, especially the hair on the legs.
Yeah.
Because you ever look at some of the costumes you can buy and some of the costumes you see? Yeah. I mean, the really high end ones, the first too perfect.
Yeah.
It's like it's too good. This looks like an animal, like what you would expect an animal's fur to look like. that lives outside.
all matted with like clumps of dirt.
It's
it just kind of has that. It almost looks like dreads.
it doesn't look like dreads, and
Like
there was no filth on it.
Mm-hmm.
It was almost as if this hair is tougher than ours. Like it's made for being outside.
Right.
I don't know how to explain it. It's weird. It's
I'm
definitely worth a look.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to look at this because
I think I watched it
piqued my
like
interest.
like at least 30 or 40 times in a row, and then I went my normal route and I put it through the ringer so I could see it in slow motion, so I could really see it. And then, like you say, I wish I hadn't, but nevertheless,
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys out there have checked it out.
I cannot wait to post the photos for this episode of things with the uncanny valley and just see how uneasy I can make people.
Oh, I can't wait. I don't mean it. It's gonna be terrible. It's gonna be terrible, but I don't know. I don't got anything else to add to this one. If you guys don't, you guys want to put a cork in this
Yeah.
for
So,
this
like,
week?
Is that a normal ending note for you? Like
Put a cork.
Yeah, you said that like 3 times at the list.
I didn't even realize. Put a cork in it.
He's staring at a cork all night.
I am.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe that's where I got it.
Yeah.
Well, that's yeah.
You guys out there, check out that video. I'd like to hear your guys' feedback. You folks that emailed, thank you.
Thank you.
I'm honored, honestly, that you would share it.
Send us videos you find
Absolutely.
so we can try to debunk them.
Yeah.
I love that. I love when we come across one, and we'll have our little riff sessions on Facebook
Oh,
Messenger, and I'll be like, "Hey, check this thing I found," and then you'll blow it out of the water, and it's like, "Ah, sweet, we busted another one."
The scary ones are the ones where I work on it,
It's still
and then I like, it's like, 2 hours later, I'm still working on it. Like, there's got to be something. And then I don't get anything.
Yeah.
I've got one. It was like the Thanksgiving dinner Bigfoot sighting, where they're filming their like holiday, their family.
It was Christmas, wasn't it?
Was it Christmas?
They're in a big house,
Yeah.
but it's out in the woods.
And it's like you only see it for a second, way out in the woods walking. And I must have went over that one like
The
30
dogs
goddamn
the
times.
dogs are barking and all that.
Yeah, the dogs are reacting. Their people are oblivious, and there it is out there. And you have to like zoom in and enhance it just to see this thing. And I'm sitting there like, dude, even if that tree is only like 4 inches in diameter, this thing is still like 7 feet tall. I'm like, oh my God. Like, you know what I mean? If you go the old Thinker Thunker route and take the tree out of the picture, copy that tree, and then use that tree and stack it and see how many widths it takes to reach the height of it, you get to some insane numbers. No matter, even if you say that the tree is only 2 inches in diameter, you're still at way bigger than a man.
There's a video that Thinker Thunker did that I think we need to do.
Which one?
It's the tree thrower.
Oh,
I
yeah.
think we need to dissect tree thrower.
See, that's another one that I've actually avoided that one. I've actively avoided that video.
Really?
Yeah, because I don't have any idea what could hurl a tree like that.
That's why I say. That's why I want to dig into it and see if we can debunk it.
I mean, I'm willing. I'm just saying that I have a very, very I have a lot of quit in me on that one, because I'm like, God damn it, no matter how you go after that one, it's really hard.
well, we're not ending the episode. We got more.
We always do that.
But no, like, since you guys said something to it, whenever you're wanting to do it, let's make either a cryptid theory. Let's literally film it outside. We'll get some PVC pipe. We'll actually try to find the same exact tree, and I'll try to throw it.
Tyler will be our Squatch.
And I'll literally try to throw it the same way he did it.
I'm down. that sounds like a worthy endeavor because
The one thing
if he can hurl the damn thing like 30 feet in the goddamn air,
I was there.
I'm like, okay, debunked.
But the one thing I want to know, if I definitely, I probably won't be able to do it with the tree, but the PVC pipe. That's the one thing I wanted to see because anybody can hurl that, but I want to see how it lands. If it lands similar to how that, because you've all played around with PVC pipe. When that thing lands, it does this like.
Yeah, it's gonna bounce a bit.
So
the tree doesn't bounce in the video, does
no, it kind of tumbles.
And he throws it top first.
Yep.
That's the messed up part.
Yeah,
He throws it side.
See, when you say stuff like that, it just makes me want to give up.
That's why I want to try. You know,
And
that's
Yeah.
the reason why is that's the most compelling Bigfoot video I've ever seen in my life, and I want to see if I can bust it.
Yeah.
It's my goal is to try to bust it.
Okay.
You know.
Well, okay. If we go after that one and we can't bust it, what are we sitting with then? You know what I mean?
We're sitting there's something.
We're no worse for wear than we started.
Yeah. All I'm
but-
saying is for the sake of the listener, we go after this video and we tear it to shreds. I'm willing. Let's tear it down to the fibers and try to figure this out. I mean, I'm all on board with doing the experiment. You know, that's great. Yeah. I have like 6 different species of trees. You know, at my farm. I'm willing. You know what I mean? We can try different diameters. We can do whatever. I don't even care. But we get all the way to the end of this thing, and we can't replicate it. Then what do we have with that? That's what I'm. What's our end product we're presenting by saying we can't? Are we going to definitively say that whatever is in this video can throw trees really good?
To me, it's if we can't bust it, Thinker couldn't bust it, other people can't bust it. Maybe nobody can. Maybe it's another Patty film.
Maybe we can add it to Patty.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just I don't know if we can say that we can add it to the patty, but it's in that I would say it's right next to it because of it's not clear. Like, cause if anybody's actually watched the video, you really can't see what's out there. The only thing you really notice about it is how it, like you see a blurred shape, but you literally see an arm move, and then the tree flying through the air.
And it's an underhand throw.
Yeah.
Of a tree, not just a regular.
Well,
throw.
no, he kind of.
Yeah, but it's still.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we actually said that too when we dug deep into this.
Yeah.
That's how a lot of
most
primates throw like
underhand
that.
Throw stuff.
They throw they kind of flick their arm like that. They use a lot of the pectoral muscle to fling stuff.
Yeah.
Definitely willing. What do you guys out there think? You want to see us try to replicate that one? Let us know. See you guys next time.
Later.